So welcome to the show. I'm Sarah J. Cross and I'm here to support you on your journey to becoming a successful product business owner with tips, strategies and stories to guide you through the good times and the challenges of running a product-based business. Today we're talking to Sandie Stone. Sandra is a rapid transformational success leader, an advanced rapid transformational therapist and clinical hypnotherapist. Sandie takes you on a journey of self-discovery into the secret world of your subconscious to find where your happiness and success beliefs and blocks are, unlocking the where, when, and why you believe you believe. With this knowledge and understanding, Sandie provides you with the pathway to erasing and eradicating those negative beliefs and installing brilliant new habits of confidence, peace, motivation, and success. Sandie firmly believes that belief without talent will get you further than talent without belief. But when you have both, you are unstoppable. Welcome, Sandie.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I know so many of our listeners will be excited to hear your story, Sandie, because confidence is so important when you are running your own business.
Confidence, Sarah, is absolutely everything. Confidence comes from self-belief, and that comes from the story that you tell yourself. Before I was a therapist, I was in retail. I was a women's wear retail and homewares business in Sydney for 40 years. And even though it was incredibly successful, I spent most of my 40 years thinking that I had just been lucky. I was terrified somebody would find out that I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it held me way back. There could have been so much more I could have done if I had known what I know now.
Yeah.
Once I discovered RTT and I unlocked all of those old beliefs, it was like, man, it set me free.
So, Sandie, tell me a little bit more about yourself, your background and why you've come to follow this path of helping others.
Well, I found it really fascinating in retail, different clients, different responses to the same situation. I had a particular client that would come and regularly be in the store, and when there was a crowd of people around, she would openly spend, $5,000, be the big, important lady. Everyone was in awe of her. She looked really beautiful. But within a couple of days, she would return all of it. And I knew she was going to return all of it. And it was all about the show. It was all about being important for her. Then we would have other clients who would shop and, you know what, nothing made them happy. They would have a wardrobe full of beautiful clothes. They'd come back the next week, spend another $1,000, buy virtually the same as they'd bought the week before. But nothing made them happy. So I went to the States. I started studying mind work a long time ago, and I was absolutely fascinated with how it all worked.
Yeah. It's funny that you would learn through that sort of human behavior that so many people are seeking fulfillment, and material items don't make that happen, do they?
No, success and confidence are an inside job, as I always say. It does not come from external sources. When we're waiting for somebody else to say, oh, you've done really well, or you're looking beautiful today, or your business is incredible, that's all great until those people maybe have a falling out with you, or they don't want to be your friend. And when they leave, they take your confidence with them. They take your success with them. So once clients understand that this is an inside job, you must take 100% responsibility for it. That's when it all starts to click into place.
Yeah, that's when, and obviously, you love seeing the changes that it makes in people's lives, and showing them how to unlock that potential.
Yes.
Because I think that's the part of, I'd imagine that's what would be really rewarding, is seeing that transformation.
Yes, absolutely. When clients do a session with me and they fill in their questionnaire, so much comes out because so much is linked. This lack of confidence, anxiety, imposter syndrome, So many things are linked. And we know that you're not born with any of these things. These are all learnt behaviours. So the great part about that is once it's learnt, we can unlearn it. But our mind is run by 95% of our subconscious, which is driving our everyday life. It's driving 95% of our life.
Yeah.
And until you do something like hypnotherapy and regress, you actually have no idea what's in there, what's lurking around. So it's very difficult to change an old behaviour when you're actually not sure what's driving it.
So what does rapid transformational therapy entail? Like, explain a little bit more about, how that works.
So a session with me is actually a program. So how I work is I email the client a questionnaire, have them fill it in, get it back to me. We then have a 30 to 60 minute consultation by Zoom or by phone. That's where I get to sort of read between the lines. As I've read their notes, it's like, what's going on here type thing. I get to ask all their questions. So we do all the chit chat to start with. I then send them what we call a priming recording, and I have them listen for 7 days. This is where your mind starts to open up to new possibilities. So that when you have your session 7 days later, we jump straight into therapy. We've done all the chit chat. We don't need to do any more of that. We go back to childhood and figure out the where, when, and why people believe what they believe. And of course, it's never their own belief. It's somebody else's. It's the school teacher saying, Mary, what's wrong with you? You can't keep up with the rest of the class. So Mary decides she's dumb. Or, it might be your parents saying, you're never going to be successful. Look at your brother. He can do everything. Why can't you? What's wrong with you? So we start to believe these beliefs about ourselves, that we're stupid, or we can't be successful, or we can't make money because our family never had money. And then we do a tag on it. And the tag is, and it's always going to be like this because this is who I am.
Okay.
So once we can unlock that in the session, we go back through this really beautiful natural process, because hypnosis is natural. It's very safe. It's like the aha moment. When we get that aha moment, when we get to go back to 3 or 4 memories that you may or may not be able to bring up on a daily basis. Some clients have told me that, they'll go back to memories of being 6 months old. So we go back, we dissect it, and then it's oh my gosh, okay, that's where all of this came from. We start to recode then. So I upgrade the client in a really beautiful manner. We start recoding and loading whole new beliefs. And at the end of that, I make a recording for the client. I get them to listen for 30 days, but we know that neural pathways take 30 to 60 days to form. It's a habit. It's like any habit. You must repeat it to become a habit. So whilst they're listening to their recording over that time, we have 2 conscious coaching sessions. And that's all about strategies around conscious behaviour that starts to need to align with their subconscious. Because we know that once you can do that, you can create your future.
Amazing. The wiring of the conscious and subconscious is the perfect combination, that inward and outward. As you said, it's an inside job. I really like that saying. That's actually really simplified it down. A lot of people aren't quite sure what it entails, and if they're going to sort of be feeling unsure or not sort of, that they're going to sort of lose control of their body or their mind, and they're going to do something that they're that they're worried about, feeling embarrassed about.
No, I can't make them say or do anything. And in fact, the client is the one in control of the entire session, because you're still quite conscious. We have you in a state, but it's a state where you would be, maybe if you were watching a movie, you're so engrossed in the movie And you're not even, somebody might walk into the room and you're sort of conscious they're there, but you're just completely focused.
Yeah.
So it's not traumatic. We're not reliving situations, we're only reviewing them.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly interesting for clients to understand where all these beliefs came from.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So, Sandie, who can you help?
Sarah, just about everybody. Because so everything from anxiety, loss of confidence, fears, phobias, money blocks, success blocks, bodily, physical ailments, fertility issues. I've helped clients get pregnant. So, yeah, if you want to get pregnant. So it's all about just understanding yourself, your mind, what drives you.
Yeah.
And taking that 100% responsibility to know that we can change our biology.
Yeah.
So it's
the power of the mind,
amazing. So fascinating.
Yeah. So tell me, Sandie, what are the secrets to extraordinary confidence and success?
100% belief in yourself, Sarah, for start.
Yeah.
Complete clarity around what you want.
Yeah.
Understanding that it is an inside job. It does take some work. It's not magic. Nothing works till you do the work. Yeah. But once you understand the rules of the mind, which I teach,
yes,
you get to harness your own power, and then you're unstoppable. I think you mentioned earlier in the bio that, belief will take you further than somebody who just has capability. But once you have both, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's like your resilience builds constantly. You're always treating yourself like your best friend. Instead of human nature, we tend to ignore all the successes and we just focus on that one negative that might have happened in the day. Learning that the negative's done and dusted, we're not interested in going there. It's about acknowledging all of your successes, patting yourself on the back, looking for all the good. It's like falling in love with yourself, treating yourself like, that person that you're just falling in love with. You only see the good things about them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Sandie, you talk about educating your clients to re-engineer their thoughts and behaviors and to believe in themselves, giving them the confidence that they need to be positive and productive. How do you do this?
Well, by doing the hypnotherapy, understanding where their core beliefs come from, because our subconscious runs 95% of our lives, we can't move forward without understanding all of that. Once we can undo the old belief system, we can reload all of the new beliefs. And that's something that it's very personal. I always ask the clients, what is it that you want to be feeling? And everybody has a different answer, but one of the things everybody says is happy.
Yeah.
So happy, they want to be peaceful, they want to be confident, they want to believe in themselves. They want to know that they're going to get to the end result. They want to know that someone else can't take away everything that they're building up. And when you're so solid in yourself, literally people can't. You might take a knock, but you jump back up so quickly.
Yeah. So it's really that resilience is there because your inner mind is connected and you've got that new belief system, that new data, as you said, has been loaded.
Yes. And when you listen to your recording every day, as I ask my clients to do, it is the beginning of forming new habits. We have to connect our emotion to hearing these new words. I always say it's a little bit like becoming the actress in your life. If we look at an actress, J-Lo, for instance, before she's learning her lines for a movie part. So she's learning her lines, she's reading her lines, she knows them back to front. Listening to your recording is like learning your lines. You know them back to front.
Mm.
Then she creates the character as well. She creates an emotional attachment to that character. How's she going to walk, talk, behave, react, act?
Mm.
So that when she steps on set, she's that person.
Mm.
That's what we want clients to be able to do, is attach the emotion to the great success. Attach the emotion to the belief in themselves. How good does this feel? Attach the emotion to so much confidence that it really doesn't matter. If somebody rejects me, fine, I move on to the next one, and I do it really quickly because I don't want to waste my time there.
Yeah.
So every day then what you do is you wake up, and instead of replaying all of the negatives, how come nobody's buying my products? Why isn't there enough money in the bank? Is it that nobody really likes me? What we're doing is we're waking up and we're looking for the possibilities every day.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to drive the change. And in this really tricky time, your clients, Sarah, are so lucky because we're all in the same boat. But when they learn how to harness their power, when we come out on the other side of this, they are going to be streets ahead of everybody who hasn't been doing the work.
The work on their mind, And I'm always, a big advocate, as you know, all about mindset, having a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Because I really strongly believe that, 95% of business success is all about having that really strong, solid mindset to get you through. Because as we know, you've been in business for a long time. You need to be able to have that to navigate through those really tough times where you're questioning a lot of things about whether you should be in business. Or, things that can happen outside of your control. And it's about how you react to them. I think that does come down to mindset. And I've seen a lot of people who haven't made it in business because of the mindset. Their product, there was no issue, that they actually had a really good business model, but they just didn't have the mindset. The inner resilience and that sort of solid belief in themselves to continue. So that can make or break someone's small business.
100% for sure. Because as you said, that's business. It's not roses every single day.
No, it's not. And, those sort of challenges are part of everyday running, a business, that you have to just be solid in your own belief, in your self-belief. And in order to get where you want to go, you've got to have that roadmap in your head, don't you? You've got to have that
for sure.
belief. Yeah.
And the difference between a fixed mentality and a growth mentality. That fixed belief system, nobody likes my product, what am I doing wrong? To that growth mentality, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
How can I change this? How can I do it really quickly? Let's just get on with this. That's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And being flexible and understanding that business is always going to be up and down. It's going to have its challenges. That's fine. That's what makes you grow. That's what makes you a better business person.
Yeah.
But it's looking for the growth in there rather than that fixed mentality, moving to that growth mentality of, not compare and despair. This is my show. This is what I'm doing. My strength is me.
Yeah.
And believing in yourself.
And I have to say, because I, only work with creative women, the amount of times I get told that, I've got this, but I just can't get to the next level. And I'll sometimes say, do you think you might be getting in your own way? Do you think you need to get out of your own head? And they all totally agree because they've all got those limiting self-beliefs and those doubts, and it's the confidence that stops them. It's actually nothing to do with the business. It's actually them that is actually breaking their business or not moving forward.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a couple of small shifts that they need to realign. And that's why, people sort of being able to sort of rewire and reprogram their minds so that then they can be really, really solid in their future. The alignment is needed, isn't it? It's that internal and external connection.
It is. And, you know, my own story, Sarah, when I had my retail business, retail manufacturing and wholesaling business, even though it was super successful, as I said earlier, I was terrified. They would all find out I wouldn't know what I was doing, that I was actually dumb.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I did my first RTT session when I went to the States for my training that it all fell into place, and it went back to me being in kindergarten.
Mm.
And the teacher catching me, I was supposed to be concentrating. I don't know how much a 5-year-old can concentrate for how long. But I was talking to the little boy next to me, and she made me stand up, and she said, Sandra Davis, you stand up and you tell the class that you are nothing but a nincompoop. You can't take instruction.
Mm.
And in my little 5-year-old mind, it was, what's a nincompoop? I think I must be an idiot.
Yeah.
And because I believed that she would know, she was the person supposed to be caring for me. That was my tagline, I'm an idiot and I always will be.
Mm.
And so once I understood that, it was like, now I get it. I was never an idiot. If only I'd known that so much earlier. But, you know,
that was ingrained in your subconscious for so long until it was released.
Yeah. I had a client come to me a little while ago with money blocks, and we went back. He was actually in the womb. And I said, it was to start with, I said to him, where are you? He said, I don't know, it's dark. And I went, oh, it's dark. Is he in a cupboard? He said, but I can hear this boom, boom, boom.
Oh my goodness.
And I said to him, I think you're in the womb. Can you hear your mother talking? And he said, Sarah, I've got goosebumps telling you. He said, I can hear her saying, we can't afford this baby.
Oh, no.
So he grew up thinking he was a burden, that he didn't deserve anything, and that he came from a family that didn't have money. Once he understood that, it was like, now I get it. Now I get to change.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know what, to most people who don't understand hypnotherapy, they would not even know that they have retained that much information going back to infancy or newborn or like in the womb, in the mother's womb. Like it's just sort of hard to comprehend that our brains can store that much information.
Yeah, in the right circumstances, Sarah, we can actually recall everything of every day of our lives.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a client go back to being 2 years old, sitting in her high chair at her own birthday party. She could tell me what the birthday cake was. It was chocolate, what her little hat was. And she said, Sandie, like, I don't know where that came from, but I can see it as clear as day. Yeah. So we actually have the ability to remember everything, but we don't need to remember everything. All we need to ask our subconscious is to lock on to those vital, crucial things that created the belief.
And then the ones that are obviously holding us back, that are negative or not doing us any good service or that are causing issues in our adult life, they're the ones that need to be rewired and reprogrammed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, my own experience working with you on a personal level has been very transformational. I was a little bit hesitant. I remember sort of thinking, am I going to do something strange when I'm, you know, like lose control? I think, you know, will I say something that I don't want to reveal, or will I, you know, but it was more of a deep state of relaxation. Having never been hypnotized before, and I was fully aware of what was going on around me, but I was in a state where I was just focusing on your words and reflection and like going back into childhood memories, which is not something that I have ever done before, and it is incredibly powerful.
It is. All we go to is an alpha brainwave state. And that's the state you're in just before you go to sleep. So it's a state where it allows you to let go of your conscious mind, and your subconscious has so much to tell us. And that's where we get the chance to be able to concentrate on just us and hear what your subconscious has to say. And I literally ask parts of your subconscious very specific questions. And, what's the role of the money block, for instance? And the client will say, because nobody in our family, for instance, she might say, nobody in our family has money. I don't want them to think I'm better than them. There's a thousand answers, but when we get you to that state, it's like the light bulb moment.
Yeah. And you get to the benefit of being able to see how much that can help people really start to thrive in their life, in their personal and their mental and their health and in their relationships, business. Like it really goes across the board, doesn't it? Like of all aspects of their life.
It has that ripple effect for sure.
Yeah.
And I do get to see it because we have the coaching at around day 7 to 10 and somewhere around day 20. I get to see the difference. And that's also when they get to say to me, I'm still having a challenge around this particular circumstance or whatever it is. And we get to nip it in the bud really quickly.
Yeah.
So, I get to see the change in them. And then I'm always available. They can always call me 3 months later for a quick chat if they need to.
Yeah. That's quite incredible and so powerful. And I mean, for all those people that have possibly been going to see psychiatrists and psychologists for many, many, many years and spending an exorbitant amount of money to try and get these breakthroughs, what do you say to them?
Well, on average, Sarah, for not everybody's been to talk therapy, but the people who have been to talk therapy, on average, have been seeking help for 7 years and spent over $30,000.
Wow.
Talk therapy is great for some people in the really short term, but it doesn't get into your subconscious. So how can we change things long term when we don't really understand? If all you need is somebody to listen to, if you're somebody who doesn't have a girlfriend or a partner who can hear you, well then a psychologist is a great thing to have because you've got somebody to bounce some ideas off and they're coming from a very neutral place. But it's still not they can't get to your subconscious level in straight talk therapy. So this is the next level.
Yeah, it is definitely the next level. Oh, wow. That is so helpful. I mean, I know the listeners are going to find everything that you've shared today and what we've talked about just so it definitely have their minds ticking over as to how they can take those steps. And thank you so much for sharing so much with us. And where can people find you on the web? If they'd like to know more and find out, how they could work with you, where do they need to go?
So my website is sandrastonetherapies.com. So that's Sandra Stone, THERAPIES.com.
Perfect.
And that will have all my details there. Of course, they can always phone me. My mobile is 0418 458 287. Obviously, I don't pick up if I'm in a session with a client, but I always get back pretty quickly.
Yeah, you are. You're really responsive and have so much passion for what you do, and you are a leader in the RTT therapy, which is just incredible how much this can really help because it's personalized to the individual. It's not something generic. It's something that everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own belief system.
Yeah.
Everyone is carrying around things that they don't need to carry around, which is what I learned by just, having, worked with you. I just know the power of the subconscious now and the therapy. So I thank you again, Sandie. It's, that's where you can find Sandie at sandrastonetherapies.com. If you've missed anything today in today's interview or you'd like to go back and revisit Sandie's story and the advice today that she shared with us in more detail, you can click on the link to download today's show notes and get a copy of everything we have talked about today in your email inbox. So it's time for me to say goodbye, and I will see you in our next episode.